This whole situation feels like somebody took messy relationship drama, podcast shock value, and revenge fantasy, threw it in a blender, and hit max speed. So here's the storyline people are running with online. Blueface allegedly wants payback after claims that Adam22 slept with Jaidyn Alexis, and then Lena The Plug jumps into the mix, basically saying, well, under a few conditions, I'd sleep with Blueface. That's the type of headline that doesn't just trend, it explodes. But once you get past the shock factor, there's a lot going on here around clout, ego, relationships, and how far people will go for content. Let's start with the basic triangle. You've got Blueface and Jaidyn Alexis, with their very public, very on-again, off-again situation. You've got Adam22, podcast host and adult content businessman, who already lives at the edge of what people consider normal relationship rules. And you've got Lena The Plug, his wife, who's built a whole brand around being open about her sexuality and their non-traditional setup. So when this allegation pops up that Adam slept with Jaidyn, you already know it's not going to stay quiet. Whether it happened exactly the way people are saying, or it's exaggerated for clicks, the perception that Adam crossed a line with Blueface's baby mother. That's not small. That's ego, pride, and family all getting touched at once. From Blueface's side, the narrative online is simple. If you touched mine, I want payback. That's how his persona moves, tit for tat, disrespect for disrespect. In his world, if somebody you rock with, work with, or at least have a public relationship with ends up allegedly dealing with your girl, it's not just a relationship issue, it's a status issue. And status is everything in that space. Now add Lena's part into this. The angle people are talking about is that she's joking, flirting, or hinting like, if certain conditions are met, maybe I'd sleep with Blueface. On paper, that's wild. You've got a wife offering that kind of solution to her husband being accused of crossing the line. But in the media world they live in, it's also right on brand, pushing boundaries, blurring lines between content and real life, turning drama into opportunities. The question is, who's actually serious and who's just farming attention? Because let's be honest, everybody in this story knows exactly how the internet works. They know that the second a clip or quote hits saying Adam slept with Jaidyn or Lena offers to sleep with Blueface, it prints views. Podcasts get more traffic. OnlyFans pages get more subs. Music streams and Google searches spike. This isn't just a messy love triangle, it's an attention engine. But underneath the clout, there's real stuff being played with. Trust, humiliation, and how people publicly treat the mothers of their kids. If you strip away the cameras and the platforms, it looks like this. A guy allegedly sleeps with his associate's ex. The ex feels violated and wants revenge, and the guy's wife throws gasoline on the fire by putting her own body on the bargaining table. And that's where it gets dark, because now human beings are being treated like chess pieces. You did this with my girl, so I get to do this with your wife. It stops being about feelings and starts being about scoring points in front of an audience. From Lena's angle, you can read it a couple ways. One, she's just trolling. She knows Blueface, she knows Adam, and she knows the fans. She might be leaning into the chaos just to stir the pot, keep people talking, and keep their names trending. Two, she's so comfortable in her open public sexuality that these kinds of offers don't faze her, and she sees it as part of their brand. Three, she might be trying to diffuse things with humor, even though it probably has the opposite effect. From Adam's angle, if he really did what people say, he's now in that awkward place where his past behavior, his current lifestyle, and the content he built his name on are circling back to bite him. You can't build a career on pushing boundaries, inviting chaos, and monetizing every wild scenario, then act surprised when the storylines get personal and messy. Blueface, on the other hand, comes from a totally different space. His relationships are already public and explosive. We've watched him go back and forth with Jaidyn, go at Christian, air everything out online. So when something like this touches him, he reacts how he always does. Loud, petty, and with that, I'm gonna get mine back energy. That might be entertaining to watch from the outside, but it's also a sign of how deep the hurt and pride issues really go. Now let's zoom out. This whole thing is a perfect example of how internet culture and adult relationships are getting tangled up in a way that's not healthy. We've reached a point where people will use their relationships as content, not just cute couple vlogs, but infidelity, revenge, humiliation, and sex are all part of the show. And the audience, us, we encourage it. We clip it, share it, rate it, W or L, dub or fumble. But these are real lives. There are kids involved. There are long-term emotional scars involved. The internet will move on, but these people live with the fallout. It also opens up a bigger question. What does payback really give you? If Blueface were to follow through on some revenge play with Lena, would he actually feel better? Or would it just be a moment of fake victory that fades the second the clip stops trending? At the end of the day, if your heart is still hurt and your ego is still bruised, no amount of "I got even" is going to fix that. On the flip side, if Adam and Lena are going to keep involving other people in their relationship content, they have to accept that not everyone they deal with will see it as just entertainment. For some, this stuff is real. Disrespect is real. There's a line between we're open and do content and we're playing with people's families and reputations for clicks. For viewers, there's something to take away here too. Just because you see people treating their relationships like a circus doesn't mean you have to repeat that in your own life. Not everything needs to be content. Not every argument needs to be streamed. Not every betrayal needs a camera and a live chat. You can choose peace over payback. You can choose to walk away instead of trying to even the score. You can choose not to turn your pain into a storyline for strangers who don't care about you once the video ends. What this whole situation really shows is how blurred the line is between personal life and public brand. For these people, they're almost the same thing now. And once those lines disappear, anything can become fair game. Your partner, your ex, your co-parent, your co-workers. It's all content. So yeah, the headline is crazy. Blueface wants payback after Adam allegedly slept with Jaidyn Alexis, and Lena The Plug is out here offering herself up under certain conditions. But the deeper story is about what happens when grown adults let the internet control how they handle real-life hurt. Here's where I land. If everyone involved cared more about healing than headlines, half of this wouldn't even exist. But as long as clout is a currency, you're going to see more situations where revenge, sex, and hurt feelings get turned into playlists. If you're rocking with commentary that doesn't just repeat the drama, but actually breaks down what it means and what we can learn from it, you're in the right place. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, drop your thoughts respectfully in the comments. Whose side are you on here, or are they all doing too much? And make sure you subscribe to the Short Clips Podcast so you don't miss the next deep dive into the stories your timeline can't stop talking about.